Welcome to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast urging you to let it go and don't look back. With nationally acclaimed professional organizer Christine Stone and self-proclaimed hot damn mess radio and TV personality Eden Kendall.
Welcome, everyone, to Uncluttered and Unfiltered. We're the podcast for women over 50. With me, Eden. Christine Stone is here, and we have a special guest today. So we're just going to jump right in. And we've been teasing this. We talked about her for a couple of episodes now.
Yes.
Actually, I want to say we've talked about this woman 3 different times.
Yep.
First, let's bring her into the mix. It's okay. Maria De Crescenzo, and she is, we're going to give you her bio in just a moment, but let me go back to why we had talked about her so many times. The first time was Christine went to see Casey and the Sunshine Band, and she came back from the show last year and said, Yes, of course he was great. Yes, of course the show was great. But the one woman I could not take my eyes off the entire time, and then Googled and found out she's our age, is Maria. And so then we talked to Casey, and your name came up there. And then after we saw you, and I understood why she was obsessed,
Yes.
We talked about you again and teased everyone that we would have you on the show. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored. And now I know why my ears were ringing so much.
Exactly.
Exactly. So let's start with you, Christine. Tell Maria everything you've learned about her from researching her.
Goodness.
People love to know what's out there
Yes.
about them. And you can tell us what's right and what's not right.
Yes. Well, first of all, we have a mutual friend in common, and I'll talk about her afterwards. But the funny part of the story is I put you in one of my stories in the fall, and a friend of mine who we're mutual friends with said, "Oh my gosh, I know her. I can't believe," so it's such a small world because I grew up in Miami. So
Aw.
that also fascinated me of the whole story of how did you grow up in Italy?
I did not. I was born in Connecticut, and my dad moved to
Okay.
Florida in 1971. My mom and I went back to Italy for a few years. I actually bounced back and forth quite a few times. But ultimately, my dad moved to Miami, and I came and visited and then stayed for a while, bounced back and forth. So ultimately, Miami has become my second home.
Oh,
But I've been here since kind of 1971.
Ah.
wow.
I too started in Connecticut and then ended up growing up in Miami. So
See?
we have that in common as well. Look at
Yes,
that.
we do.
So what we know about you right now is you're on tour with Casey and the Sunshine Band, and you have been with them for how long?
Started with Casey in February of 1988.
That's a long
You
time.
can do the
So-
math.
Yes, exactly. And Chris, what else have we learned about Maria?
Well, what I wanted to know is how did you two meet?
Funny story. So, obviously, being a musician in South Florida, he was a household name. And I had lots of people who also were musicians who kept going to him saying, "You have to hear Maria sing." And he's like, "I already have girls. I don't need another one." And ultimately, he came into a bar that we both frequented, and that's how we met. And we met, and he heard me sing. And a few weeks later, he was doing a show at Bouvier Park in Fort Lauderdale. And it was a Sunday afternoon. I was in bed watching the game, reading the paper. And he called me and said, "One of my girls can't make it. Can you fill in?" And about 2 hours later, he came by in a limousine with a cassette tape that he played for me so that I could learn the music on the way to the gig, which was about 45 minutes away. And when Yes, I'm Ready came on, he said, "Oh, and by the way, you're doing a solo on this song." So we made it to
Gosh.
I know, no pressure. So we made it to the gig, and I think it worked out because I've been with him pretty much ever since.
Wow. So when he said, "Are you ready?" you literally had to say, "Yes, I'm ready."
I was ready. I was ready. And I'll tell you what, from that first show up until now, I'm still just so shocked in a way. But but it just means so much. I looked out into the audience at that first show and specifically saw a grandmother wearing a sequined skirt with a little girl who I presume is her granddaughter. And they were both just singing along and shaking their booties. And, it's just something really, really special. This music has just, it's just so inclusive of all the generations. It's a really beautiful thing.
So you're a triple. Are you a triple threat? Like, did you act too, or because you're obviously a dancer because we've seen you dance. We know you're a
Oh
singer.
no, I'm
Is
not.
there any?
Oh no, I'm
Or is there
not.
any other?
Oh no, I
No,
laugh.
not
I tell
okay.
I tell everybody it cost Casey $100,000 to teach me how to dance. Yeah, no,
Oh,
I was a rock and roll chick. I would get on stage and my thing was strutting like Pat Benatar, just strut back and forth on the stage. I mean, I could shake my hips a little bit, but dancing was not my forte at all. So when Casey started hiring these wonderful choreographers, God bless all of them, they had their hands full with me. But thanks to them and a little perseverance and a lot of patience, that's what you see.
So I have to know, so the other girls that are on the stage with you, so
Hmm.
do you ever feel like I'm 65 years old. I have to be in bed at a certain time, or I get tired, or I take naps. Do you ever feel like, you're just in a totally different kind of headspace than they are?
I'll be honest with you, the girls with whom I'm working right now are unbelievably gracious to me. Uh, I consider myself on stage sometimes a comic relief because all three of these young ladies, I mean, Anika has been on Broadway. I mean, these are really trained professional dancers, and I'm trying to keep up with them. So I think most of it is my insecurity and my feeling of, how I look or how I'm performing. So I think a lot of it is self examination. But the young ladies with whom I work, they're always so encouraging. They're like, "Oh my God, you're doing great. You look great." Uh, and I go to them for advice, like, "How am I moving on this?" And they're very gracious with their time. They spend time with me. They're like, they want me to look good too. And it's such a beautiful feeling to work with women who are so willing to empower you in your weakest moment, let's say.
I think that's probably one of the reasons we really were looking so forward to talking to you, Maria, is you are in a situation where you are surrounded by some younger women who are primo gorgeous dancers. You're gorgeous. You're up there moving and grooving. I would have never known you didn't start out as a dancer as well as a singer. I mean, obviously your voice is, why you're the main vocal background singer and you have solos. But I think in every walk of life, the women that listen to this podcast, we are surrounded by a lot of people younger than us.
Hmm.
And it's so easy to fall into that feeling of, am I holding my own? Are they secretly thinking like, come on, your time is up? And so we were really curious if you ever had those kinds of thoughts in your head.
Of course. And kudos to Casey for keeping me around. Because let's face it, he could hire a much younger person who can sing just as well and perform just as well. But I have to give him credit for, you know, I just have to give him credit. I don't know why, but he does, and I'm grateful for it.
Well, we know why, because you bring so much to the show, but not
Thanks.
everybody. Yeah, but no, you're right. Anybody who is not being ageist, who is understanding that their audience, that there is a place for everybody on that stage
Well,
is
how
fantastic.
often are you on the road?
So we do about 60 shows a year now. Um, and I laugh because they don't pay me for the show. They pay me to get there. Uh, it's traveling is becoming more and more difficult and challenging. You saw my little Yeah, you saw my little puppy dog. Um, and I live in West Palm Beach, and we fly out of Miami. So for me,
Right.
it means waking up, and we're always on the earliest flight out, obviously, because there are fewer chances of delays. And so I'm up at 1 o'clock in the morning, out of the house by 2. I drive down. I drop off my little girl at her dog sitter and then make my way to the airport and get on a flight. Hopefully, it's a direct flight. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's even more than 1 or 2 flights. And you get to where you're going, and then you do sound check, try to grab a bite to eat. If you can, you close your eyes for a few minutes. Usually you can't, but then you do the show, and typically they book 2 and 3 shows back to back. So again, you get back to the hotel, let's say 11 till midnight. By the time you get showered up, you repack your bag, and you get yourself together for the following morning. Then you're up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to do it all over again. So it's grueling. My biggest thing with young people who want to get into singing and want to tour and all that, I try to explain to them that it's not just your vocal talent or your dancing talent. It's not just what you do on stage. It's how you, first of all, how you respect your body as you're traveling because of all of the other demands that are made on you. But it's also discipline and being able to do all that without being a bear to work with.
How do you handle those trips? Do you pack a lot, or because you're in costume on stage, obviously, do you just kind of do some athleisure wear and just?
My friends make fun of me. If I'm going on a work trip, I have one bag for all of my costumes. We travel with our own costumes. So I have one bag for all my costumes and a tiny little bag because all I bring are jeans and T-shirts and maybe a sweater. It's easy peasy. Don't take me on vacation because I will pack 12 bags, bring 30 pairs of shoes for a 5-day stay. I can't pack for a vacation. I am outing myself. That's the God's honest truth.
That's me as well. And you're talking to a professional organizer in Christine. That's her whole
job.
Life is she starts packing a month in advance, and she has everything ready to go too in a to-go bag. She's got one of those bags that, like, if you needed to get out in an emergency, she could go anytime.
Good girl.
A go bag, but it's for vacations, so she's always ready.
Listening to your schedules and your traveling,
yeah.
I mean, I am so impressed. I'm
tired.
63 and I'm tired just listening to you. I mean, I can't imagine doing what you do and then getting on stage and performing. I mean, that's just unbelievable. That's an inspiration to all women over 50 and 60 because I just find
I'll add another
your
one to
energy.
I'm going to add another one to that because for the last few years, I also performed with a classic rock band, Mr. Nice Guy, here in South Florida. So I can't name how many times I would come off of a trip and drive directly to a gig and do a rock and roll show for 3 to 4 hours and then go home. So, and yeah, everybody was like, "We don't know how you do it," and that makes me feel really good. And of course, you know what do they say? Rolling Stone gathers no moss. So
that's right. Time can't catch you if you slow down. Well, it can, obviously, it always wins. But is there any like secret you have? Do you like
vitamins,
supplements, vitamins, sleep? Just
honestly, the only thing I need to do, I mean, of course I'm getting older, so the aches and pains are getting, but the biggest thing I have to do is I have to honor my body. So when I come off a trip, let's say I get home on Sunday, regardless of what time I get home, I don't answer the phone. I'm done. I sleep, I rest, even if it takes till Tuesday. And that's kind of what I have to do for my body. Not everybody's the same, but I kind of feel that works for me. The rest, the having nice meals without having to rush. Those are the things that nourish me when I get back off the road.
So when you get home, do you have to go to a chiropractor, get a massage? Like, I would think your body would just be aching.
It is.
No?
And yeah, it is. But I don't do any of those things with any regularity. I mean, chiropractors are not my favorites. They've helped so many people. For me, they've not worked for me. But massages, I'll take a massage any day. But I don't
Same.
get them as much as I should probably.
Well, I'm totally impressed. I mean,
I know. The whole
Eden
life.
knows I'm such a homebody. So just to hear everything you do, just to get ready for shows, when you come back, you go to another gig. I mean, your energy is
It's
amazing to me. Just
infectious too.
amazing.
June is Men's Health Month, and it's time to talk about what really matters. Mental health isn't weakness, it's strength. But too many men are told to tough it out, push it down, and stay silent. That ends now. 1 in 4 adults, including men, experience a mental health condition, and Hearts for Minds is here to break the stigma. Whether it's you, your brother, your dad, or your friend, mental health deserves attention. Visit heartsforminds.org to access resources, connect with care, and start the conversation that could change everything. You don't have to do this alone. Visit heartsforminds.org.
Thank
Maria,
you.
can you see out into the crowd at a venue that's like when we saw you recently, it was at the Florida Theater in Jacksonville. Could you see into the crowd other than if like you turn the house lights on?
I too, but I don't know if this is just me. I have a really hard time with facial recognition once you're in the crowd. I try to find my friends. It's like I look for them, but unless there's a spotlight straight on them, I have a really hard time recognizing faces in the audience. But I see them all just as a collective, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It does feel like you all are experiencing a beautiful thing. It feels like a real give and take with the audience at that show. Not just because Casey speaks it so much, but you all at, even on the encore, just the way you're like really looking into the audience. And I feel like there's just this give and take that's happening at that show, more so than others I've seen.
We feed off of the audience. If we have a great audience, oh my God, we walk off stage just filled with excitement and joy because that was a great show. What a great audience. I mean, we say that often, more often than not. There was one time someone booked us. This was decades ago, but it's funny to me. Someone booked us for oh my God, an accountant convention, and it was all men. And we get out there, and these guys are looking at us. One guy was in the front screaming "Freebird," and the rest of them were in the back corner. But the rest of them were in the back corner, just networking, passing out business cards. It was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Nobody wants to hear us. There's no girls to dance with. Like, what are they going to do? So,
Right.
yeah, no, that one was like the worst one. But most of the time, we love our audiences. Our audiences are on their feet, and we thrive on that. And the more they give us, the more we feel like we have to give. It's definitely a symbiotic relationship,
So were you a KC fan before you started working with the group?
Okay, you should not have asked me that.
Oh, you were more rock and
Because
roll.
she's a rocker.
Yeah, and I was a huge
but
huge
in all
KC fan.
honesty, I loved Casey's songs, but there was a movement at the time because this electronic music was taking over the organic nature of rock and roll. So I have to, and he knows this. Yeah, I was part of the Disco Sucks movement. But mostly just because of that, because the electronics were taking over and they weren't using musicians, And but even though I did that, but I was still loving KC, Donna Summer, the Bee Gees. I mean, I loved the music, but it was more of a principle kind of thing. And Casey still laughs about it. So there's that.
I know a lot of stories aren't true on the internet, but how true is it that you were discovered singing in your car at a gas station?
It's true.
It is.
So,
Can you walk us through that?
so I was convinced that I was going to be a singer. I wanted to be a singer all my life. I came out of the womb singing. And wherever I could sing, I sang. If I was walking the streets, going from one place to another, I was singing. I was in my car. I was driving a Gremlin. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh, I remember
And
those.
so I was in my car and I went to a U-Totem, which was like a 7-Eleven of back in the day. And I pull in, and I believe it was Working for the Weekend was playing, but don't quote me on that. But I think it was a song like that. And I pull into the parking lot with the windows open, of course, radio blasting, and I'm singing along with it. And I go in and I make my purchase. And at the time, the only place you could play video games was either in a bar or at these convenience stores. So I went over and I started playing Galaga or Ms. Pac-Man, whichever one I felt like playing that day. And I sat in there for a good 45 minutes. Well, when I finally walk out of the store, I see a young man sitting down next to my driver's side of the car, leaning up against my car. And he goes, I go, hello, excuse me. He goes, was that you singing? And I'm like, well, it was me and Loverboy. Yeah, why? And he says, do you want to join a band? I'm like, well, yeah, I do. We made a date and we went to his guitar player's house to rehearse. Now the problems begin because I was raised so much time because I was raised in Italy for so long. My musical knowledge of American music was kind of chunky. Like I knew some songs, but I didn't know others. So, I mean, I knew of Led Zeppelin, but I didn't know any songs. So the guy says, do you know Zeppelin? And I go, how does it go? And at that point, the guitar, yeah, I had no knowledge. And so at that point, the guitar player said, girls can't sing rock and roll. We're done. And she's out. But the guy who discovered me felt so bad that he put me in touch with a top 40 band who was looking for a singer. And that's how I got my start. The band was called Savage. And my nickname was Mia. So it was Mia Savage. I know it was stupid, but it was fun.
Nice. Very 80s sounding.
Very 80s.
Yeah, very 80s sounding.
And did you guys play it like a lot?
Say that again?
Did you play at a lot of hot spots in South Florida? Is that where you
did?
toured?
We were playing at places like Big Daddy's. We were playing at
I went there many a times.
Who knows? You might have seen me there. So
I
yeah,
probably did.
We were playing a lot of the little local places. And then that band kind of disbanded, and I went with another band called Bamboozle, 3-piece power trio. We did great. We were playing at a place called Pieces of Eight. We did that for a while. And then I joined a band called Viva, and we were playing the country club circuit, which was fun. And I loved playing with that band because we did a little bit of everything. We played the country clubs. So we would start the night with Barbra Streisand and like some light Motown. And then we would go into the second set and we would do some dance stuff, like the Stevie Wonder stuff and that. And then we would move to the third set, which was more the dance stuff, the Taylor Dane, the electronic music stuff. And then the fourth set was ZZ Top. So it just ran the gamut of music. So I loved that variety. Then after that, I think I played with one other band for a minute, and then I decided there were some issues with club owners, and nobody wanted to pay, and they were demanding, and it just got a little wonky for me. So I quit. And I just took a sabbatical from music for a while, and that's when I met Casey.
Everything happens for a reason.
It does.
What do you think you'd be doing if you weren't doing this? What's your second passion?
You're going to laugh, but I am intrigued by construction. I know. Isn't that crazy? I love building.
Really?
I love carpentry. I love seeing things built. I love knowing how things work. And I might have gone into something of that nature.
Interesting. Wow. Well, there's always a lot to see getting built down in South Florida, and of course, you're touring the world. Have you done a world tour? I'm assuming that. I think you guys have, right? You've done a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
touring the entire globe. Yeah. It's an amazing, amazing thing to get to talk to you because you just really do light up that stage and you really did make an
Oh, thank
impression on the both of
you.
us. So we really appreciate you taking the time. And what people don't know is that in the midst of all of this, your little baby, fur baby, is has just been checked in to a cardiology appointment. So that's on your mind, and you're still willing to stop what you're doing and chat with us. So we
Of
greatly
course.
appreciate it.
Of course.
And inspiring women over 50 to just
Yes.
age is just a number. And I'm telling you, when I saw you up on stage the very first time, I'm like, she's unbelievable. And
That's
I don't
really
know if
kind
it's
of you.
just because in my mind, I feel like when you're over 50, a lot of areas are like, you can't do that anymore. You can't do this anymore. And I feel like you can do anything when I look at you up there singing and dancing around and staying up past my bedtime of 8:30. I look at you and I'm like, amazing.
Well, I'm humbled
And
by
isn't it
that.
so funny? And just so you know, Maria, we said the same things about Casey. We're not sexist about this. We're not over here saying like, how can she stay awake? We're saying it about him too. We're like, dude, good for you. Good for
Let me
you. How
tell
hippie
you,
are you in the morning?
he puts all of us to shame. Like, okay, I am so humbled by the fact that you're impressed by my level of energy. He puts me to shame. He makes me look like I'm sleepwalking. I'm telling you, he
Yeah.
is on top of it. No, listen, he gets up a little bit later than I do because he's closer to the airport. But okay, we'll grant him that. What, couple, 3 hours? We get to the airport. We're on the same plane. We get to the same place. If we're in a casino, for example, I'm going upstairs. I'm going to bed. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to get a little rest. He's in the casino playing. He's not getting a rest. He's in the casino. Then we do sound check. And after sound check, I'm going to go lay down or I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. He might go grab a bite to eat, but then he's back in the casino. He's not sleeping. Then we do the show, and there he is. And that's what you're seeing. He puts us to shame. Can I tell you? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is an
His
incredible
dance
human
He's
being.
moves and
He really is, honestly. I mean, I cannot say enough wonderful things. And we talk about all our experiences at the Casey and the Sunshine Band shows on that exact thing, how he has so much energy and puts on such a great show. And really, all of you look like you so appreciate everyone being there. And I think that's part of what you see, that you really are enjoying what you do.
We do. And I'll be honest with you, when I look out into the audience and I see women of a certain age and they're looking at me and I know what they're thinking, and it makes me proud. It really makes me proud to think
Oh,
that
good.
that they're, yeah, I'm up here. I'm up here. Life is not over. Stop thinking that, you have to we are not our mothers' 50s and 60s and 70s. We're younger. We crave more from life. We, there's just so much more to life than wearing a muumuu and going to bed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's inspiring to me when I see these ladies, especially at the end of the show when they point at me and they're like, "Wow," and I'm like, "Yay, thank you," and that's you too. That's you too.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
Especially all of us out there in our sparkles, it's like, give us a reason to get dressed up and go back in time a little bit. It's fantastic. Maria, we want to respect your time.
No
So
worries.
we're going to draw this episode to a close right now. And if you thought for a minute that being in your 60s was a reason that you can't do what you want to do, you can let that go.
And don't look back.